Before SAP, it is very important for all of you to understand what is SAP. And before you discuss SAP, we need to find out what is ERP. So can anyone tell me what is ERP?
Enterprise Resource Planning.
Enterprise Resource Planning. Thank you so much, Pankaj. My question is, what is ERP? Now, can you please explain in brief what ERP is? Or anyone can describe? Anyone would like to tell me what ERP
Yeah,
is?
it's a software.
It's a type of software. Okay, this is the misconception that most of the HR, those who are not having knowledge of SAP or ERP is having. So you are not the only one. ERP is not a software. Let me first clarify this one. Ayushi, you are not the only one who has this misconception. So first of all, understand what ERP is. ERP is basically enterprise resource planning, as Pankaj said correctly. It's enterprise resource planning. Now, whenever we are talking about ERP, enterprise stands for huge business organization. Whenever I talk about ERP, that means huge organization. A company which is huge in nature, having multiple location, having multiple departments, having huge distribution across the globe or maybe across the country, a complex business structure. So that is called enterprise. And when I'm talking about resource, that means all the different department that we have in any company, like finance department, HR department, marketing department, manufacturing department, material department. So what is the resource? Resource are the department using which a company runs. So enterprise is a big organization. Resource means all the department, all the tools that is used or those are used to run the organization. And planning. P for planning. How to plan the resource properly. So how effectively plan all the resources so that I can utilize them properly. How I can plan properly, how I can plan all the resources that I have in a company, how to link them effectively, how to connect them effectively with each other, how to connect all the department with each other. That has to be planned properly. And that is why this is called enterprise resource planning. How I can plan all the department in a big organization. Enterprise resource planning. Now understand that enterprise resource planning, ERP, is not a software. ERP is not a software. First of all, clarify this misconception which is very common. ERP is not a software. ERP is what? ERP is a concept. ERP is a blueprint. ERP is a blueprint. ERP is a method. What is the concept? What is the blueprint? What is the method? How to link all resources together. How to link all resources together. And when I'm talking about resources, that means all the department mainly. So earlier, what we used to happen, पहले क्या होता था? Different department, different software, different department used to have different software. They had their own system. They had their own processes. So every department used to work alone. Every department used to work alone. And there was no link between all the department, no link between all the department. So every department was alone. There was no link between all the department. So there was a huge problem in communication. There was a huge problem in communication between the multiple department. अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर कम्युनिकेशन करने में काफी प्रॉब्लम होता था. Why? Because there was no communication channel between them. There was no communication channel between them. They are not connected. ये जो भी डिपार्टमेंट होता था ये लोग आपस में कनेक्टेड नहीं थे. So there was a huge problem in communication. सारे काम करने में डिले होता था. इंफॉर्मेशन was not available properly. इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं था क्योंकि सारे डिपार्टमेंट के पास अलग अलग सिस्टम था. Every department was having different system. So there was a communication gap. So earlier this kind of problem was supposed to happen. Now what happened? ERP came into the picture. ERP came into the picture. So some engineers, some IT engineers, they thought of a new model. Some IT engineers, they thought of a new model. What this model will do? What will be the utility of this model? The model will do nothing, but they will connect all the department. They will connect all the department together. They will connect all the department together. And the moment they are going to connect all the department together, every department can communicate with each other. Every department can communicate with each other through a centralized system. Through a centralized system. So पहले कोई डिपार्टमेंट एक दूसरे के साथ बात नहीं कर पाता. कम्युनिकेशन में प्रॉब्लम होता था, डेटा मैनेजमेंट प्रॉब्लम होता था, डेटा डुप्लीकेसी होता था, काम स्लो होता था. बट नाउ सम इंजीनियर्स थॉट ऑफ ए मॉडल, ऐसा एक मॉडल जहां पर सारे डिपार्टमेंट दे विल बी कनेक्टेड, दे विल बी लिंक्ड थ्रू अ सेंट्रलाइज्ड सिस्टम. तो एक ऐसा सिस्टम बनाएंगे जहां पर सारे डिपार्टमेंट एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्टेड रहेंगे, ताकि किसी को डेटा के लिए किसी के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं करना पड़ेगा. देयर विल बी नो डिपेंडेंसी. देयर विल बी नो डिपेंडेंसी फॉर डेटा. You can collect the data. You can collect any data you want. All the data that will be connected through a centralized system. And this particular centralized system is called ERP. Enterprise Resource Planning. The centralized system will be structured. The centralized system will be planned in such a way so that all the department can be connected through that centralized system and nobody will have any problem in communication with each other. Now, this is not a software. Again, I repeat, this is not a software, but this is just a concept. This is just a planning. क्या हम लोग ऐसे कर सकते हैं? हाँ, हम ऐसे कर सकते हैं. कैसे करेंगे अभी तक डिसाइडेड नहीं हुआ. But when ERP was introduced in the market, it was just like a research work. I repeat, it was just like a research work. We can do this kind of thing. It was just a planning. It was just an idea. It was just an idea. Now, whenever I'm talking about ERP and this idea came into the market, every software company jumped into this. They've taken this idea and they started working. They started working how this idea can be implemented. They started working on how this idea can be implemented. कैसे implement होगा वो ERP में नहीं बताया गया. ERP में बस plan बना के छोड़ दिया गया. Now, once the idea came into the market, different software companies started working on this idea. different software companies started analyzing the idea. Different software companies started working, and to plan, they started developing a software. All they started to develop a software, and what the software will do, that software will follow the ERP model. The software will follow ERP model. Now, when there are many companies who started working on this and they started developing a software that will follow the ERP model, different companies started developing different software. Different companies started developing different software. SAP is one of the company out of them. SAP is one of the company out of them, which is based on German company है ये, और SAP is the name of the company. Remember, SAP is the name of the company, which is a German company, and they developed a software. They successfully developed a software which will follow the ERP model, which will follow the ERP model, which is successfully follow the ERP model, and they have named the software as SAP. They has named the software as SAP. So SAP is the company who developed a software which will follow the ERP model, and they named the software as SAP. So what is ERP? ERP is an idea. What is SAP? SAP is an ERP software. What is SAP? SAP is an ERP software that will follow the ERP model, and that will successfully implement the ERP concept. Now, SAP is not the only company who designed the ERP software. SAP is not the only company who designed the SAP ERP software. There are many companies who started developing their own software, and they are following the ERP model, and all of them successfully completed their software, and that has been introduced to the market. Like Bun Corporation is a company who created an ERP software named as Bun. Oracle created a ERP software called PeopleSoft. Oracle has created another SAP software called JD Edward. Navigen is another ERP software, and the most popular ERP software is SAP, which is developed by the company called SAP, and which is approximately acquired the 60% of the market share. So the most popular software is SAP. So now you can understand the difference between ERP and SAP. ERP is just a concept, and SAP is a software which is built by a company called SAP. And these software, all the software that you can see on my screen, all the software that you can see on my screen, they all are the ERP software developed by different company at different time, but SAP is the most popular one.